Welcome to all. This is S. Kalaivani from Department of English, JJ College of Arts and Science, Pudukottai. Now we are going to see the act-wise summary of the drama Dr. Faustus, written by Christopher Marlowe for 2nd BA students. Act 1, Scene 1. Faustus discovered in his studies. Faustus is shown in his study examining various fields of learning in order to decide upon his choice of the particular field in which to specialize. He is attracted by logic but finds that he has already attained great proficiency in it. He next thinks of medicine but finds that his skill as a physician is already widely recognized. He also deplores the fact that the study of medicine has not enabled him to make human beings immortal or to bring dead men back to life. Legal studies, he goes on to say, are suited to a man who is merely money-minded. Divinity would perhaps be the best choice, but being divinity teaches a doctrine, the doctrine of fatalism, which is totally unsatisfactory. The study of magic makes a great appeal to him. Magic will bring him not only wealth but power and glory. Magic will enable him to extend his authority as far as the mind of man can go. Faustus' servant Wagner enters and Faustus asks him to go and request his friends Valdes and Cornelius to visit him. Wagner goes to bring the two men. The good angel and the evil angel appear. The good angel asks Faustus not to read the book of magic but to study the scriptures. The evil angel encourages Faustus to study magic and to become as powerful on the earth as God is in the sky. The two angels then make their exit and Faustus is again left alone. In a soliloquy, Faustus dwells upon the power and the pleasure that he will be able to enjoy by means of magic. He will make spirit bring him gold from India, pearls from the ocean, and delicious fruits from all corners of the new world. He will make spirits read to him strange philosophy and tell him the secret of foreign kings. Valdes and Cornelius now appear on the scene. Faustus tells them that their advice to him to practice magic has proved effective. But Faustus makes it clear that it is not only because of their advice, but because of his own free choice that he has decided to study and practice magic. Magic, he says, has ravished him. Valdes encourages Faustus in his resolve and says the spirits of every element will be at service of Faustus. Cornelius says that as Faustus is fully qualified and equipped for the study of magic. Act 1, Scene 2. Before Faustus' house, enter two scholars. Two scholars are feeling worried as to the whereabouts of Faustus, whom they have not seen for some time at the university. Meeting Wagner, they ask him where Faustus is. Wagner plays upon words and tries to puzzle the two scholars who have asked him a simple question. Eventually, the scholar learned that Faustus is at dinner in the company of Valdes and Cornelius, who are notorious because of their active interest in the study of the black art. The scholars, feeling solicitous about Faustus' welfare, decide to inform the president of the university about Faustus. Act 1, Scene 3. In a grove, enter Faustus to conjure. Faustus is now seen in a dark grove, ready to conjure. It is the time of night. Faustus has drawn a circle within which he has written the name of Jehovah. forward and backward anagrammatized with the abridged names of holy saints and figures of various stars and planets. Telling himself not to feel afraid but to be resolute, he proceeds to recite the spells which will bring Mephistopheles. When Mephistopheles appears, Faustus commands him to go back and return in the guise of an old Franciscan friar, because he does not like to see him in his real shape, which is too ugly to be tolerated. Mephistopheles immediately departs, and Faustus feels very happy at the devil's compliance with his order. Faustus is pleased with Mephistopheles' obedience and humility, and calls himself a conjurer laureate for having been able to summon Mephistopheles with the force of magic and his spells. The next moment, Mephistopheles reappears in the guise of a Franciscan friar and asks what Faustus would have him do. Faustus wants Mephistopheles to promise to serve him during his whole life. Mephistopheles says that he will not be able to carry out Faustus' wish without the orders of the great Lucifer. Then they have a prolonged conversation. Mephistopheles tells him that he has come to him of his own accord, and that the easiest way to call up the spirits of the hell is to renounce faith in God and scriptures and to pray only to Lucifer. Faustus tells him that he has already done so and has completely surrendered to the devil. When Faustus wants to know more about his master, Mephistopheles tells him that Lucifer is the chief ruler and commander of all evil spirits, that he was once an angel most dearly loved by God, and that he fell from heaven because of his aspiring pride and insolence. Mephistopheles also says that there were many other angels who fell with Lucifer for having made a common cause with him and revolting against God. He adds that all the expelled angels have forever been damned and are doomed to live with ever in hell. Mephistopheles then tells him with remorse that to lose heavenly joys and bliss means living in hell perpetually. Faustus feels a little surprised at Mephistopheles' sorrow over the loss of heavenly joys. Faustus then asks Mephistopheles to go to Lucifer and tell him that Faustus is willing to surrender his soul to him on condition that Lucifer will spare him for 24 years, provide all voluptuous pleasure to him, and place Mephistopheles at his disposal to carry out all his commands. Mephistopheles agrees to go and obtain Lucifer's sanction to the proposal. Left alone, Faustus says that even if he had as many souls as there be stars, he would give them all for Mephistopheles. He foresees a great future for himself. With the help of Mephistopheles, he hopes to become a great emperor of the world, build a bridge through the moving air in order to cross the ocean with an army of men, and so on. Act 1, Scene 4. In a street. Enter Wagner and the clown. Faustus' servant Wagner tries to befool the clown, for whom, however, he feels a genuine sympathy. The clown is unemployed and is not only semi-naked but semi-starved. Wagner would like to employ the clown as his errand boy, but the clown has no desire to serve Wagner. Wagner tries to browbeat the clown by summoning two devils with magic words, which he has picked up from Faustus' magic books, and the clown is scared into submission. The clown has no alternative but to agree to accept employment under Wagner. In this presentation, we saw the Act 1 summary of the play Dr. Faustus. We will see the Act 2 summary in my next presentation. Thank you.